Hello there folks, it is TIJ Gaming and welcome to another Football Manager 2021 team guide. Today it is the turn of Leeds United. It's fair to say Leeds United are probably going to be a very popular save this year and are a club that have returned to the Premier League after what's got to have been 15, 16 year hiatus from the Premier League after finishing first in the Championship by winning the Championship last year. And they're a club that, as I said, have a lot of intrigue, probably have a lot of interest with Football Manager this year, with a lot of people taking charge of the club. So this team guide is designed to go for a few of the key elements of the Leeds United squad, talk about the few quick key elements of the game, and what I would do if I was managing Leeds. So this video isn't really for you guys who are mega experienced in Football Manager, those of you who are big Leeds fans, because generally speaking, I'm not going to bring anything new to the table. I'm just going to look at this like it's my first day at the job and tell you guys what I would do. So if that's going to be of benefit to you, make sure you stick around and watch. Those of you who are experienced at FM, maybe you could stick around and watch as well and see if there's anything that I maybe miss, any youngsters I miss, etc. And suggest those down in the comments. We're going to have a look at the club vision, any new players that have come to Leeds, the dynamics of the club, the tactic I would recommend to use, as well as a few youngsters to watch for the future. So let's have a look at the club vision then. Now, obviously, bear in mind, I find it quite funny that our job security is untouchable already, even though we've just come to the club. There are three elements of club culture, three objectives here, and really we can blend the two together to play entertaining and attacking football. The two go hand in hand, don't they? You're not going to play attacking football that's boring, unless I suppose you hoofed up the field all the time. And at the same time, you're not going to play entertaining football by parking the bus. So the two go together, and it's something that the Leeds side definitely does facilitate, and the tactic I've used definitely facilitates that as well. And it's a requirement, you can see out all these that it's a requirement, and this objective is the most important, to develop players using the club's youth system. That is something you see in most Premier League saves and shouldn't be of any issue. In terms of the 5-year plan, then, there are 5 objectives here, most of them fairly similar. You've got increased commercial revenue, grow the club's reputation, expand your stadium. The bottom one, work within wage, was exactly the same with every Premier League club. At the start of the save, Leeds have got £25,000 spare in their wage budget. You can see they're currently spending £697,000 and their wage budget per week is £722,000. So you can buy someone who is £25,000 in terms of wages, but if it goes over that, just bear in mind the club aren't going to be too happy, and of course you're going to go against this objective. In terms of expanding the stadium, the board will contact you when the time is right. Signing young players to develop for profit. If you are new to the game, I recommend you probably go to staff, responsibilities, transfers and contracts, and delegate this initiating player signings for Leeds United under 23s to your director of football. And then he will probably bring in some good signings potentially. And then again, sign young players to develop for profit either on loan or by selling them. So that's a big tick if you're not quite sure about how to sign the young players, or haven't really got too much of an idea about who to sign, I suppose. And the final one really up here, you've got grow the club's reputation. That's really just going to be by doing your talking on the pitch, and increase commercial revenue. So that's signing players who bring in a merchandising boost. Now, there's no objective here, and it's quite surprising really. A lot of the Premier League clubs say don't sign players over 28, for example. Don't sign players over 30. Here you've got free reign. They want you to sign young players to develop for profit. So as long as you sign a couple of those, you can sign whoever you want. Obviously bearing in mind that you've only got £3 million in terms of transfer budget. But again, if that's something you're not sure of, go to the same screen as before and delegate all of your player signings to your director of football. In terms of the competitions then this year, of course, Leeds have been promoted to the Premier League and also are in the 2 domestic cups. So the most important one here is the Premier League, and the minimum expectation you could see is that Leeds achieve a mid-table position. Now, in my full manager save with Wolves, Leeds finished in 8th last year, and I think they're currently in 6th. So they've obviously got the squad to do something that's decent. They're a squad that, as I say, come with a lot of intrigue, and I think a mid-table finish is realistic. You've got a better side than the likes of Sheffield United, Burnley, Palace, Brighton. I could reel off 6 or 7 sides that you've probably got a better side than, so mid-table is definitely realistic, I'd say. Reach the 5th and the 4th round of both cups. That's the last 16 of both cups, so EFL Cup you can see it's only preferred. If you don't finish there, then they're not going to be too fussed about it. But as you can see, the club really want you to reach the 5th round of the FA Cup. So that might be frowned upon if you don't make it there. But what I would say to focus on the most is the Premier League. Make sure you finish in the mid-table in the Premier League. And then if you don't reach these two, it's not so bad. If you go and win the EFL Cup, or maybe get to the semi-final, for example, and get relegated, well, you're going to be out the door. So just take these importance figures into account. Obviously, these two are required. The bottom one is just really a preferred objective. And then going forward in the first 5 seasons, I mean, in the 3rd season, they want you to record a Premier League top half finish. So Leeds very, very, very ambitious as they go for their first season in the Premier League. Bear in mind that obviously that's the 2nd season, that's the 3rd one, and then they want you to maintain a top half finish. So that's going to be tough, but let's see what players you've got around you to start off with to do that. So Leeds have spent £83 million. Let's have a quick look at some of the biggest signings. So we'll start with Rodrigo, £27.5 million. I've just completely butchered that up. 27.5 million. I went £27.5 or something stupid like that. You've got the benefit of rewind. I haven't. But you can see he can play all along the attack and also in midfield. So certainly a versatile player. He's come from Valencia and he seems to have played well there in La Liga. Also got experience for Benfica. I find that brilliant, by the way. Benfica, Real Madrid. Oh, Bolton, by the way. Must have been here when he was very young then, 18 or 19. But, you know, he's a good pedigree. He seems a good player. And he's a star player for you, being paid £100,000 a week. So he looks like he's going to be a first choice. Diego Llorente's joined from Real Sociedad as a centre-back. He seems to be the best centre-back for you. You can see that him and Robert Koch will be playing on the back line. For I can hear all the immature one of you giggling in the background there. But we've got a few other signings here. I'm not going to go through all of them, but we've got Rafinha from Stade Rennais. Again, another winger to bolster the squad. He's going to be really 2nd choice behind Rodrigo. Bear in mind, Pablo Hernandez is now 35 years of age. Ilan Mesala has come in as a goalkeeper, a young goalkeeper from Lorient. He was on loan from there last year, and as you can see, he's going to be first choice goalkeeper with parameters to improve quite a lot. You've got Jack Harrison on loan from Manchester City. He's going to be a first choice for you, and potentially a player you could sign in the future. There is an optional future fee of 10 million in the loan deal, so if you did want to enact that at any point during the loan deal, then you just offer the 10 million, suggest the terms, and obviously Man City have to accept that. They've got no choice there. I think it's a mandatory future fee, optional future fee, and I think the club, if I remember rightly, they have to accept that 10 million if you offer it. A few other little signings here, but I don't think there's anything of real necessity. So let's have a quick look now at the dynamics of the squad. So a newly promoted club. It's good to see you've got Liam Cooper and Luke Ayling, the captain and the vice-captain in this team leaders screen. I have to say, out of all the Premier League clubs, this is the one I know the least about. I don't recognise many of these players. Luke Ayling, I feel like I recognise Liam Cooper from somewhere. But Stuart Dallas, Alioski, I haven't got a clue about some of these players. But Calvin Phillips is one I know that has got a lot of potential. As you can see, he's a star player and will really be there to bolster your midfield for years to come, I would say. So I guess if he starts doing well, you might get a bit of interest from elsewhere. Pablo Hernandez is 35 now. I can't believe he's that old. That's frightening. It's been nearly 10 years now since he was playing in the Premier League for Swansea. But you've got a few other players here. I don't see any issues with this, to be honest. You've got all of these team leaders, none of them particularly old, so and it looks like all of these players are going to be first or at least second choice. So that looks absolutely fine to me. In terms of the tactic I've gone for then, you might be surprised to hear this, but given that we want to play attacking and entertayning football, I have gone for the Klopp special, the Gegenpress. And I think you've got the squad to do it. We've got Masilla, the new goalkeeper, in goal, obviously. Luke Ayling, Diego Llorente, Robert Koch and Stuart Dallas at the back. Calvin Phillips is that holding midfielder. You can see he does a really good job there. A superb rating for the first team. Jamie Shackleton and Rodrigo in the midfield. Jamie Shackleton is a 20-year-old and he's only going to get better. So I would suggest that you're playing quite a bit. But other options you've got instead of Shackleton, you have got Robert Koch, who can play there as a second option. Matthias Klitsch, Adam Forshaw, but you can see none of them have really got the potential that Shackleton has, so I would use him from the outset. New signing Rafinha and Harrison on the wings. You've got Helder Costa as well, Tyler Roberts as well on the wings. Again, you've got quite a young squad. I mean, Helder Costa is one of the more experienced players in the squad, of course, signed from Wolves for £16 million last year. Quite steep in my opinion, but he is one of the more experienced players in the squad. Quite an exciting young squad that they've got here. And Patrick Bamford, known as the Championship striker, that's definitely been debunked this year in the Premier League. He's done well, but be interested to see how he gets on your save. There's no doubt that he is going to be the first choice up front. But you have got Rodrigo in there as well. But obviously he is playing on the right wing. He's not actually playing. No, he's not. He's playing in central midfield. That's where I think he'll play best. But he's very versatile. Can play there, or there. So, you know, make up your mind, I suppose. But I feel like Rodrigo in the centre of the park is the best place for him to be. You've got a strong bench. Got a few players here maybe who could be deadwood. I've talked about Pablo Hernandez. He's got 2 years left on this contract. It might be time to get rid of him. Few players here are already listed to transfer. Adam Forshaw's very much a fringe player. You can see a championship level player really, so he might be one to go out the door on £20,000 a week. Garardi again, 32 years of age. He's out for the rest of the year, so you might have to set him for release at the end of the year, or maybe try and offer him out. He's just signed a new contract apparently with Leeds. Well, I can't see that because unless he has just signed a 1-year contract, I suppose. I don't know, but yeah, I'd be looking to get rid of him for the end of the season, but the fact he's going to be out for the season is going to really not make clubs interested in him. Anyway, final part of this video, we're going to have a look at the development centre, which is one I look at in every team guide, and I absolutely love this screen every time I look at it. It's a report by your head of youth development, Adam Underwood in this case. And you can see a various number of things here, which is very beneficial to you. You've got first team candidates here, and there's a lot of them here in the under-23 squad. You can filter through those and see who would maybe be a player that you want to promote to your first team straight away and start using as fringe players. For example, we looked at a few players in the squad that are on the way out. So if we look at that again, if we go for tactics, and for example, we know that Pablo Hernandez is on his way out as a right winger, we could look in here and say, well, have we got a winger? Here we go. We've got Stuart McKinstry, the 17-year-old Scot. Could be a player that comes into the first team. Maybe we compare him with Pablo Hernandez to see where he sits at the moment compared to him. If only I could find him anywhere on here, unless he's somewhere else. Where is he? There he is. Pablo Hernandez. You can see that obviously Hernandez is a better player than him at the moment, and that McKinstry's got a long way to go in terms of vision, attacking and technicals. But of course these players grow over time and might be a good idea as a fringe player in your first squad, particularly if you sell Pablo Hernandez. In terms of the under-23 squad there, we've just talked about Stuart McKinstry, but you've got a lot of players who could become real superstars. Charlie Cresswell, 17 years of age, been a Leeds youngster since he's been at the club. He was born in York. Could be the next Tony Adams. There you go. He's a director of football at the moment. How fascinating. But he could be a player who definitely makes the cut in the next few years. This is something you have to consider when you're looking at making signings, because it is no good signing a 22-year-old centre-back if you've got Charlie Cresswell who's going to be coming into the fore in the next 12 or 18 months. You've got Matthias Bogus, Jack Jenkins, Noan Kenny, Stuart McKinstry, as I mentioned before, Leif Davis. He's got some interest on loan, and again, I would stockpile quite a few of these players out on loan personally. Anyone down here is going to be deadwood. Looks like a few of these might not be great, but I suppose they're 17 or 18, so maybe give them a year or two to see what they're made of. I always say to people, take this under 18 screen as a bit of a pinch of salt, because Max Dean, for example, the best player here, he might be a bit of an anomaly because he's already a good rating. But let's take the next one, Aaron Pilkington. He could become as good as Liam Cooper, apparently, and could conceivably become a 3-star player. But it's so far off that he's going to reach his potential that you're probably looking at, he could be 1-star, and that's going to be absolutely no good to you. So if, for example, you're not signing a centre-back because you're having all your hopes on Aaron Pilkington becoming the next Tony Adams in the next 2 years, don't. But I know that Charlie Cresswell is the same age, but as you can see, he's a better player already. He's got a face for a kick-off. I mean, I'm joking there, but he's got a higher value. Everything of him just sniffs that he's got a bit of a chance already. You can see that at the same age, I mean, Charlie Cresswell, he's 4 months older, but you can see that Charlie Cresswell is 3, not 4 times the player already that Aaron Pilkington is. So you just have to bear these sort of things in mind when it comes to the club vision. But you've got your ones to watch here. There's 5 players to watch. That'll change over time, and it'll tell you what players developing, etc. And any advice that they've got towards these players. You can always open this up here, and there you go. Max Dean, we recommend offering him in a long-term contract. That's fair enough. And then although there's no players that need notes in this screen at the moment, that might change over time. If players need to go out on loan, players are developing more than expected, similarly less than expected, then it'll tell you here. And you can see your summaries at the top. You can see you've got a strong under-23 squad, but in the end, under-18 squad, it's a little bit lacklustre. But that's going to be it for today's team guide. I hope you have found it beneficial and learned something. If you've got any more questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments and hopefully I'll be able to ask them. But Leeds seems like a very, very intriguing save this year. One that is with a club that's got ambition, so you've got to hit the ground running straight away. It's not like being with a Fulham, for example, or a West Bromwich Albion, or even someone like a Sheffield United or Burnley, where they're going to give you time to get into it. With a club like Leeds, you've got to deliver results and you've got to do it now, which is very rare for a club that have just been promoted. But the way that they're playing in real life, the pressure's on you. It really is, but it seems a fascinating side to start with, and one that I would probably enjoy, but I'll probably never get to manage Leeds this year. But as I said, if you've enjoyed, leave a like down below, comment your thoughts as well, and subscribe for daily Football Manager 2021 beta content. We're only a few days away now from the full game. My beta save is with Wolverhampton Wanderers, and that's going to be going on for the next half a week to a week. And then we'll be starting our main save, which is to be revealed. But it should be an exciting one, and hopefully you guys can join us on the journey for that. So if you're interested in that save and you haven't watched any yet, just stick around for a few more seconds, and the link to the latest episode will be in the end screen. So that's going to be it for today's video. I'm going to be uploading a few more team guides tomorrow. We're getting through these now. I think this is the 12th one. I'm trying to do all 20 Premier League clubs. We are certainly getting there. And as well as the latest episode of my Wolves save, there is a link to another team guide in the end screen if you are interested. But anyway, that's all that promotional crap done. Thank you for your company today. I've been TIJ Gaming, and until the next time, I will see you all later. Goodbye for now.